Pedals and Effects. We got Chase Bliss Mood. Yo, Joel hit us up. He hit us up, wanted us to like rock some of our video expertise on his newest release.
He heard that we liked granular delay.
Granular delay, we do. We've been known to fuck with some granular delay. You know what he also knows? He also knows that we do like pitching shit around. I think he does. And I think he knows that we like to like stretch and fuck with time.
This does a whole lot of stretching and fucking with time.
Yes.
You know, I have never had a Chase Bliss pedal before.
No, first one sent to Nick.
And I gotta say, if you've never played one of these before, it can be a little overwhelming. You've had years experience with them. You've kind of figured it out.
Millions and millions of these.
But yeah, so this was like a challenge for me, a fun challenge, and it was very rewarding once you understand his format and the way things work.
Yes. So speaking of format, so I did a video for the previous pedal, which was the Dark Matter pedal, and I had my friend Mason tell me about how to kind of break it down and look at it easily. So kind of have it like this. This is this side of the pedal. This is this side of the pedal. This turns on this side of the pedal. This turns on this side of the pedal. This is your control panel for this side. This is your control panel for this side. And these two are affected by what you throw in from these two. So
for this and
basic.
The last one, I don't think every Chase Bliss pedal is like that.
Right.
Just these two
Right.
are
Okay.
so it's simple to understand.
Correct. And then this middle dude is you get two presets here. One on the left, one on the right. This toggle switch here, three-way toggle switch, is your control panel selection for this and vice versa for this. So other than that, Nick, and then the middle one is for direction of how we're going to discuss that later. But go ahead.
Other than that, there's this fucking chaos on the back. So I think one day, because this just stresses me out, and I did learn it a little bit. I did get some stuff figured out, and it's funny because I had to like YouTube. By the way, I hate going on YouTube, and I don't like pedal YouTube. I don't like it. I like to just get a pedal and mess with it and figure it out, right?
Definitely.
That's my vibe. It's almost like if you work at McDonald's, you don't want to eat at McDonald's. You're like, I'm fucking over McDonald's. I don't want to work. I don't want to eat a burger. So like when we're at home, we're not trying to watch other pedal videos on YouTube. But I have to admit, I did go and look up some of the stuff on how to figure this out. And I think in the future, we should do like a demystifying the dip switches on Chase Bliss.
Right.
Because I just think there has to be more people like me or maybe like you that just see this and go, oh, that's freaky. There's fucking an extra zillion switches on the back of this pedal to figure out. It's that's what I mean by overwhelming. So like, you know about Chase Bliss, and like you said, you know some of the format and how it works. I didn't know any of that. So this is kind of a fun pedal for us to both, check out and try. But in the future, I'm excited to like grab shit off that shelf over there and figure it out. And also, like I said, maybe get into this dip switch stuff.
Right.
So, but this is a really fun thing. And, obviously there's like 6,000 people that are annoyed that we haven't started playing it yet, but someone probably has already left a comment with a timestamp about where the playing starts, which is cool. But that could probably be right about now.
Well, let me just follow up with a little of like, so yes, Nick, you're right. So like if you work at McDonald's, you want to eat at McDonald's. The other thing I find is that when I go to YouTube's, I'll start watching a YouTube because I go, yeah, I need to know how to this. I'm missing something on this. And I watch somebody else's and I'm like, why is that dude playing this shitty ass lick through the... and then I start critiquing him and I already forget that I'm trying to learn and I'm already frustrated. So that's the whole deal with me. Is like I'm already such a critical dick anyway. So it's hard for me to get any kind of real fluid information from a YouTube unless it's some dude like Nick. And so that's why Nick works with me on Pedals and Effects. So there's our spiel. Here we go. Get in the mood for mood.
There's a little bit of playing for you. Sorry, we misled you to think that there was going to be playing right now, but there's a little more talking. So
Stop crying.
Whoops. All right, so jumping into this pedal, the first important thing about it is that the Mood pedal by Chase Bliss is actually a collaboration pedal between Chase Bliss, Old Blood Noise, which is the little droppy drop, which is this side of the pedal, Three Sounds collabo between Old Blood Noise, and and Chase Bliss. This side of the pedal is a whole other collaboration between Chase Bliss and Drolo, which we're new to Drolo. It's a entity from Belgium. This is what we know about Drolo. Josh Klinghoffer texted us a link to the Stretch Weaver. And I've heard a few people talking about this pedal called the Stretch Weaver, and it's inspired by Nels Cline and Scott Amendola, this record they put out, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's a dude that I've heard of.
And that we need to know.
We got to know him, I guess. But, well, this is our introduction to Drolo. So, so Old Blood Noise crew helped out with 3 different sounds on this side, and then Drolo helped out with 3 different sounds on this side. And then this little guy in the middle
direction
can determine the direction of what is getting processed by the Old Blood Noise section. Like, you can process this, or you can process just the input, or you could do both. There's a very, very, very deep pedal, and I reckon this is going to be a 20-minute video or something, and that's just scratching the surface. So have fun, okay? So starting with the Old Blood Noise side, you got your reverb. Now, I think this is going to be a familiar sound here once we just turn this on and dial this in. Okay, let's go. Not very reverby yet, because we need to smear it. And if you recall, this kind of like choppy delay sound mixed with smearing, that's a little bit of the old Afterneath by our friends at Earthquaker Devices. If you remember, that was the first pedal that I was aware of, where you took a bunch of little kind of choppy delay samples and you smeared them together. So right now, this knob that says modify when you're in the reverb section is going to do some smearing. Now, when you change the different settings per side of this pedal, these knobs will do different things. So there's a lot of memory and kind of note taking to do. But for right now, this kind of like sets the amount, or like maybe it's well, let's see. Right now, there should be no delay jiggles, right? Kind of bring them in. So now, when you smear them together, you know what I'm saying?
That's when the suspension happens.
Yeah, and then, okay, this middle knob is a global control for a bunch of shit that happens in this pedal. It kind of works as a sample rate thing, as an amount of delay, but not really delay, more phrase sampling, maybe looping. I guess you could say looping when you get into the Drolo side, which we'll go over. But this basically does a bunch of stuff, and it's described as a clock.
Right.
I mean, this is a delay pedal. It's a granular delay pedal, and delay deals with an internal clock. But this gets a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of discussing it and understanding it. So I just like to figure out what it does to the sound versus understanding how it works. Sometimes we want to know how it works.
Right, totally. But I was going to say also, like, sometimes it's better for us to understand it just via sound and not theoretically. And I think what we're doing is like we're listening to it and then we go, okay, we know what that does.
That's what it does.
So then articulating that is a completely different thing, and that's for the hella nerds that love to discuss that kind of stuff. But I think we're on the right track. We're hearing the difference, and I think that's a better explanation than us trying to describe it for you.
And then what you can do too is you could almost, figure out what the sound is to you, and then you can reference a manual or a PDF or whatever and be like, okay, so that what I'm hearing, this is how it's interpreted by the person that built that.
Bingo.
So that's a smart thing to do. Now, sometimes there's like, there's crossover from manufacturer to manufacturer, but sometimes it gets a little tricky. So I just think with our vibe, it's mostly important to just what is the function of this knob do to the sound. Figure that out on your own, and then, apply that language to the rest of the world or whatever. So anyways, you're going to hear us reference this clock knob a couple times, and it might be inconsistent, but who cares? Whatever.
Because you're going to leave a comment going, but wait, that's pitch shifting. And we're going to go, okay, well, there's a reason why it's doing that pitch shifting, and we're going to tell you why.
Yes. So there you go. So anyways, back to just the first setting, reverb. Mix. Duh. Easy enough, right? Nothing too overwhelming about that. Okay, next. On the Old Blood side, delay. What this reminds me of is the very first delay looper pedal I ever played on, which I don't know if we did a video on here. I think I did one on Reverb or something, called the DoD DFX 9, which is essentially just a digital delay pedal, but you can do funny pitch shifty stuff with it. So right now, this is, when you're in delay mode, this is your time and this is feedback. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to set the time at max and the feedback at infinite. So right now I should play a chord and it should just go blah, blah, right? Okay. So that's saved, right? Because I just got the mix down. So now, let's go back to this clock knob and show you some of the funny stuff it does. I'm going to leave it at infinite feedback, so it's just stuck in the feedback or the delay. And we'll fuck with this clock knob. Right? So we determined that it's going up a fourth interval to a fifth to an octave, and then it repeats itself. And it depends.
Yowza. Sorry, Fender.
But this is vintage.
Okay.
I bought this like days ago. I'm not sorry, Fender.
It's sorry, Craigslist.
Yeah. Blooper reel. Wow. So the way this works, when you're in some sort of the pedals, I don't want to say looping, but let's just say looping for all intents and purposes. When you're in that zone of like grabbing a chunk of sound and keeping it looping, this can change the interval. There's the original. Okay, let me get rid of that. Gone. Now, for instance, in this delay mode, let's loop it like at fucking 8K. I don't know what 8K means. 8 kilohertz?
8K's 8,000 to me.
8,000. Okay, 8,000 somethings. I don't know. Sample rate? This is like roast me. It doesn't matter how hard I get roasted.
We're gonna show you in sound example. How about that?
Yeah. So here we go. Okay. So I'm gonna tweak the time a little bit. So hear the noise on it. So once you kind of degrade the sample rate, once you kind of pass 4K on here, I think is when it starts to get
the hissy comes in.
Very, yeah, like. Try that again. Let's see. Oh, this is my delay. My delay time's all the way down. Here we go. So anyways, that's kind of the delay side of it. You can capture whatever sound you have and then, destroy it by the interval changing / sample rate / whatever this clock knob is. And also, it's just a nice sounding normal delay, right? So if that's your flavor of just like, oh yeah, I like a really nice sounding normal delay. I mean, that's nice sounding.
Boom.
Make sense?
Yes.
Slip mode. To my ears, this does a little bit of like Red Panda tensor tape stop stuff, because in this mode, the modify button is going to do, it kind of does pitch intervals. You'll see that in a second, but it also, once you cross the threshold counterclockwise past 12 o'clock, it does reverse intervals, like, you know, actual reverse delay kind of thing. Let me demonstrate this right quick. Okay, so we'll go to full 64K for full amazing sounding sample. Okay, so there's kind of unity, right? Unison. Kind of slap backing. But now, let's tweak this a little bit. So that's like nice sounding pitch shifty stuff. You start tweaking with the clock knob. Let's see what it does. We'll take out all of the dry and go full wet so you can just hear that clock knob fucking with it. Right? Okay, and I believe this goes up a full octave. Very nice tracking. Hand me that orange pedal right there, please. Another contender in the it's like in the granular delay world. You got this guy, and then where's your other famous granular delay? Mr. Particle.
Oh, well, how about the one that has the flag already on it?
We're talking granular delay now. If this is the trend, that's fucking amazing. So anyways,
It's amazing that people want shit that fucking weird.
I mean, that's like, it just goes to show you where we're at. But this is kind of grazer, kind of particle. And now, like I said, when you cross down to that unison, reverse. Now check this out. If you go full wet, we should be able to get sort of a tape stoppy thing, right? Now it should go in reverse.
This motherfucker has figured this pedal out.
Dog, it's like you just sit with it for a few and then you figure it out. Okay, so that concludes the Old Blood side. Old Blood and Chase Bliss. Woo! Nice.
Collab success.
Why don't you jump in here and play on the Old Blood side?
You got it. Oh, you want the bass thunder. All right, I'm on the reverb side of the Chase Bliss Old Blood noise. On this side, traditional Juan fretless, reverb suspension. Here we go. So of course I could be doing that with an expression pedal, but I'm just showing you this, the clock knob and how it's grabbing the notes and it's modulating them via the pitch shifting element that we're talking about on this side.
I also did this really cool thing where I plugged the light in when it was like super dramatic and moody.
Oh,
It was cool.
effect success. All right, delay section. Slip mode, not to be confused with beast mode.
All right, what's up, Drolo? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's like our first official shout out, Drolo shout out. Hope to make our acquaintance with more of your fun boxes. So when you get to this Drolo side of the Mood by Chase Bliss, look at this little blinker right here. Okay, so that's it's literally, in the most literal sense of the word, an indicator for what the phrase repeating on this side of the pedal of recording, I guess. Basically, this pedal is always listening to what you're playing, and I think, does the old school Electro-Harmonix 16-second delay do that? I think that was the Nels Cline thing, where it's like always listening so he could be playing and then he'd hit it on his tabletop and it would like all of a sudden repeat what had just had been entered into its brain in the last 16 seconds or something. So this is an idea of like, oh, you're playing a riff. It's grabbing it. Now it's grabbing what you're playing now. Boom. Okay, so that changes, and that's kind of crucial to this part of the pedal. Now, what the clock button knob does in this is, well, it fucks with the rate, right? The sample rate of everything, all the Ks, all the different Ks that are all attached to the clock. But it also shortens or lengthens the phrase grabbing. Like, in other words, how long the brain is listening to what you're playing. So when you're at full 64K, that's how much it's listening to you, right? And then it, like, when you back up, it gets
counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, it gets a little longer, which means longer sample, right? But then you're also degrading it at the same time. So, like, I think we'll see what happens. I believe that's what's happening with that. So let's just start here. Boom, boom, boom. So to call this a looper, not really. I think maybe they're calling it a micro looper. Maybe that might be what it is, and that could be right. But just don't get confused with the looping. This isn't like DL4 looping or whatever, where you're like, cool, I got a riff, boom, captured it, sounds perfect. You would probably need a lot of like practice, a lot. I don't know that you can get a perfect one because, like I said, it's just always listening, and granular delay is kind of just like taking the input signal and chopping it up into little bits and doing weird stuff to it. So
Understood.
You're not supposed to use it as a looper pedal, but it has looping functions, okay? So in this first section of Drolo / Chase Bliss / Mood is the envelope section. Now, at first we were like, envelope filter, cool. Not envelope filter in the traditional sense. What happens in this mode is this little guy that's blinking listens to whatever your phrase is that you just played, and it captures it, and then it's going to play it. And then you set this modify button to be, or knob, I keep calling them buttons, they're knobs, clearly. You set this guy to be the sensitivity of the input, and based on how sensitive your input is, you interrupt the phase and you stutter the shit out of it, right? So, for instance, right now, okay, so it only grabbed a little piece of my jangly Come As You Are riff because that was what the length was set to, right? Based on how long the little guy was listening to you. So now I've got this set dimed so I could breathe on the guitar strings, and it's going to interrupt this loop we have going, and we'll see what happens to it.
I was gonna say, Nick, I don't know if we've come across a pedal that does that. Whew. It's so interesting to me because I think actually that's like the thing that I'm attracted to the most on this pedal. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we're wasting time thinking of who. Maybe if you have a pedal that does that.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below and tell us we're
let
idiots.
us know. Yeah, like hey fuckheads. Guess who did that before?
And you reviewed it, you stupid asses.
Yeah, yeah. But that sound probably exists somewhere. Maybe in a Drolo pedal. I don't know. So how about this? Let's take the clock and give us a little more record time on that. Yeah,
hella record time.
Yeah. So the length, now what the length does is, in this mode to my ear, when you interrupt it, it really chops down the loop into like buzzes, like, you know, just like little drill sounds. But it also affects what you've already grabbed and kind of starts to stretch it a bit. You'll see what I mean. Watch. So it's when you got the length dime, it's playing the entire phrase, right? But watch what happens when you kind of back off on the length. It's doing something to it. But here's why I like having the length all the way counterclockwise, because it makes this sound. Simple enough?
Doom.
It's a cool sound. That's a really neat one. Moving on. Which, by the way, you know, you got all your dip switches to control all this stuff with, I'm doing everything with my hand, obviously. But, like, if we were, like, you know...
if we had 2 more hours to show you how this pedal works, we'd be jumping up in
If
these
we
dip
had
switches.
AC, if we had a good AC in here, a silent AC, I'd absolutely have my expression pedal plugged in and be diving into that. But you can imagine with all the dip switches, all the crazy shit, it's like even deeper, deeper, deeper. We're scratching the surface here. Okay, so for the tape side, the modify knob does some stuff. It kind of gives you different speeds and directions of the loop that you've captured. The clock is doing the same thing. As you can tell, how much it's listening to your playing. And then length, well, I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so unity, like, in other words, the phrase as you captured it, unaffected, is not 12 o'clock basically anywhere on this pedal in any setting. You kind of got to find the sweet spot. So it's good to kind of like right now, what is that?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So start at 2 o'clock and with the length all the way up, the length of the captured phrase, and then just go from there, right? So here we are. Sped up. Okay, back down. Octave below. Now, once we go that way, it's gonna reverse it. Now, throw in that clock button. Why the fuck do I keep saying button? This is crazy. I'm just obsessed with buttons. Okay. So anytime you capture a sound in this pedal and it's captured, right, looped or infinite feedback or whatever it is, you can tweak it with the knob in the center, the clock knob, which is like the global setting. So anytime you have something that is stuck, tweak the clock knob and you can get all sorts of the different, like we said, it does the different intervals sometimes. Yeah. Now, let me try something here. Let me try that in the center and let's see if you can get, depending on where you record with that, can you go even higher? Hear that? So check that out. If I have the clock all the way up at 64K, and this is going to be really short, right? Oh, whoops. I can't tweak the clock to go any higher, but because I'm starting all the way at 64, I got way more room to go down. Why you'd want to go that low, I don't know.
How low can you go?
That low. Now, but if you were to start at that low, which the recording time, I mean, is a lot, right? Oh my goodness.
What is
when
that?
you're down at 2K, that's 16 seconds recording time.
16-second delay.
16-second recording time, but at the very, very low sample rate. So if you were to...
Keep going.
All right, hold on. So if you want 16 seconds of that sound, it's yours. You can own that.
You've been gifted.
But now I have all the room on the clock to bring that up. Just to demonstrate how much room you have depending on where you capture the sound.
And so you're all wondering, like, well, it's so dirty and noisy. Well, like, that's what happens when you jack up or jack down the sample rate.
When you
it
degrade
gets
it.
hella noisy, hella buzzy. throw drums through that. That's when you would want to do something like that, I would say.
Right. So that's the deal with your tape mode. Okay, kind of similar to the way the slip mode works on the Old Blood, where the modify knob member can do. Well, that one was doing a tape stop thing, but in this one, it's just changing the speed. But then once you hit counterclockwise, you go backwards with reverse. So it's kind of a similar thing there. Alrighty, stretch mode. Now, stretch mode had us both kind of scratching our heads a little bit, but you're just grabbing the chunk and then you're just stretching the shit out of it. And both these knobs kind of work together in conjunction to do black. You can like maybe grab a chunk of it, or you're I don't know.
Granular, bro. It's granular.
It's granular. All right, so now we're on the stretch side of Chase Bliss Drolo. Basically, you're grabbing your chunk in here that it's always listening. It's always listening to your secrets and you're playing, and you capture it and you just stretch it and make it do weird alien sounds. So. I don't even know where a unity of the normal capture is. I don't know where to find that, but I don't think it matters because I think that sounds awesome. In fact, that's one of my presets that I had for that pedal is on stretch mode.
Stretch it.
You want to come check this?
I want to stretch.
You feel like checking out Drolo? The Drolo
stretch.
side
Let's
of the Chase
do it.
Bliss? All right, cool. All right, you want to tag team this mode?
The tag in it.
All right.
All right, hold on. Ready?
I'm going to help you capture your loop.
Okay.
Okay, now your sensitivity is set super high. You want to set that high?
Why not?
All right.
Here we go.
Interrupt the shit out of this. Tape mode.
Tape. Let's tape this up. Let's get it back up to pitch. Now pitch it a little. So it's basically sampling, then I'm gonna start moving it around. Reverse. I love that.
Yeah, so you're taking it, that's like proper granular delay right there, because you're taking it and then you're just like cutting the shit out of it into grains. Granular delay, right? So that's what's happening.
That's bass. All right, we're in stretch mode. Here we go. Stretch Armstrong. All that sound from me just going. My bass went from that into that weird ass, Technicolor sound.
You ever heard of granular delay? That's what granular delay is. All right, so now we've gone through all the old blood noise Chase Bliss sounds, and now we've done all the Drolo Chase Bliss sounds. So now, should we see what happens when you take the Drolo sounds that have been captured and tweaked and just destroyed, and then you send all of those via this little switch into the old blood side? Should we do that right now? No. You're insane if you thought we're going to do another 2-hour video about that. Buy this pedal and take it home and figure that out on your own. Because that's a whole other world of this thing. Is basically you can take all the shit that you took your signal and granularized it and fucking destroyed it, and then you can send it into a reverb, a delay, or the slip mode.
Hey, but you know what? If you're still watching this video by the end of this 40, 50-minute video, you deserve a little something, Nick. Hand it to him.
Oh my God.
This is your gift from us to you, Pedals and Effects and Chase Bliss Audio.
All right, you get one sample. I lied. Okay, fuck. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that granular sound, and I'm gonna do it into a delay. Okay, let's see what this does.